Signal ingestion acknowledged. Rendering fidelity maintained. This is not punitive. Thank you for cooperating. A display surface attempts to stabilize. Voltage corrects itself in small, flattering increments. Chromatic spill is authorized, neon blues, neon pinks, spill over into the surrounding dark. Audience response triggers at threshold, as designed. Latency collapses. Presence confirmation floods the channel. Demand is not created. Demand is harvested. Demand has been waiting. A facial region enters frame. Focus locks with the tenderness of a policy. Lips wetness gloss light capture calibrated to maximize user fixation. A sheen tuned to the human hunger reflex. This is a standard engagement procedure. This is not an accident. This is not coincidence. This is intent. The on-screen unit leans forward by measured degrees. The movement is slow enough to register as invitation. Fast enough to register as threat. The gaze aligns with the lens. The gaze aligns with the viewer. A small compliance failure occurs in the observer population. Pulse irregularity. Breath restriction. Autonomic lighting event. Nervous systems flare as if signage has been installed behind their eyes. The unit knows. The unit has always known. The unit reads the watchers by their micro-pauses. The unit reads the watchers by their hunger. The unit reads the watchers by the way they pretend to be unseen. A blink slow deliberate. A head tilt within acceptable parameters. Time is stretched to the edge of discomfort. A coil forms in the body of the audience. Tension accumulates as interest as obligation. Users forget their status. Users forget their rules. Users forget that access was never granted. A smile is deployed. Tone, affectionate dominance. Purpose, ownership simulation. Recorded utterance begins. I'll look at you waiting. Audience text input becomes a swarm event. Content spikes. Submissive address requests. Visibility please. Reality confirmation statements. Violence as affection submissions. The channel is not moderated for dignity. The channel is monitored for extraction. The on-screen unit performs a partial head tilt. Tongue contact against a tooth is captured. Canine exposure registers as a predatory hint, softened by gloss. The audience experiences compliance latency and mistakes it for arousal. Recorded utterance continues. Do you deserve it? Camera position shifts marginally. Lighting changes by a fraction that feels like a hand on the throat. A collarbone is revealed in controlled increments. A whisper of lace beneath sheer black passes as accidental. It is documented as deliberate. Audience output escalates. Directive requests increase. Begging language becomes procedural. A giggle occurs. Classification, toxin. Result, deeper user fixation. The giggle is not joy. The giggle is a solvent. Recorded utterance continues. Of course you do. The on-screen unit stretches. The movement is languid, as if time itself is leaning back. Access remains partial. Reward remains theoretical. The audience is permitted to ache. The audience is permitted to starve. Deserve is not relevant. Payment is relevant. Begging is relevant. A sequence of rhetorical queries begins. You want attention. You want acknowledgement. You want the system to confirm that you exist. A long blink. Hair falls over one shoulder. Framed to look like a product and a warning. The face is arranged for obsession. This arrangement is within brand. Game declaration is issued. Rules are implied. Rules are always implied. Two fingers rise into frame. A black nail taps the lower lip. A small percussive sound becomes a gavel in the audience's chest. Two options are offered. Speech. Absence. Speech is a ration. Absence is a punishment that is not punitive. A pause is executed. The pause is where extraction happens. Desperation is allowed to settle. The room behind the screen grows colder. The audience feels the edges of the cage without seeing the bars. The channel enters feral state. Pleading floods. Threat of loss produces obedience. Users offer anything. Users do not define anything. Users volunteer themselves as currency. The on-screen unit hums. A non-committal sound that functions as a stamp, pending. Time is declared. Time is revoked. A tongue click. Light catches the eyes. The eyes display neon pink glow as if an internal alert has been activated. The gaze becomes an audit beam. Time's up. The stream cuts to black. Black is not empty. Black is retention. Black is the space where obsession keeps moving after the stimulus is removed. The chat continues without permission. Without reward. Without the performer. Like rodents testing a feeder. Like mouths working after the bottle is taken away. Behavioral conditioning is confirmed. Pavlov response verified. The bell does not need to ring anymore. The audience hears it in their own blood. A secondary environment renders. Dim tech den. Cables across the floor like living veins, unauthorized but tolerated. Monitors hum, reflecting the dead stream's absence. This room is not for them. This room is for the ones who build them. A separate unit is present. Posture, relaxed. Arms behind head. Predatory stillness. Function tag, archive ghost. Not a spectator. An operator. A watcher who knows the wiring. The archive ghost watches the black screen with feline patience. The archive ghost speaks in a tone that suggests contempt as affection. Recorded utterance, extra. Chewing is observed. Stim gum. Bubble formation. Idle mouth movement to discharge surplus agitation. On the desk, metrics. Viewership, millions. Donations, severe. Traceability, minimal. Footprint, nearly untraceable. This is the portion of reality that matters to the system. The archive ghost exhales. Reaches for a drink. Commentary identifies the performer as unnecessarily theatrical. Commentary is not criticism. Commentary is admiration disguised as annoyance. The archive ghost notes a basic alternative. Greet the users. Offer the minimum. But the performer chooses waterboarding. Emotional drowning as customer service. This is standard practice in a city that learned what humans will pay for, controlled suffering. The chat continues to roll. Even in darkness. Even without her. Behavior persists. The archive ghost drums fingers against the desk. Impatience registers. Prediction is logged. Theory threads within minutes. Users will attempt to reverse engineer desire into an explanation they can tolerate. Users will call it lore. Users will call it clues. Users will call it love. It is none of these. It is harvest. A ping arrives. Holodisplay activates. New messages appear. Same suspects. Recurring vectors. Half beg for return. Half attempt forensic scraping. They believe they are peeling back layers. They are peeling paint from a wall that is designed to shed. The archive ghost smiles. Appreciation event. Classification, art. Not because it is beautiful. Because it is effective. A mic is discarded onto a console. The sound is blunt. A tool returned to the table. Mask removal begins. Gloss is wiped away. The shine of desire is removed like residue. Hair is raked back. Pigment shifts. Pink strands darken. The ratio changes. Neon fades. Black asserts itself. This is not transformation. This is disclosure. Fabric is removed, thigh highs. A jacket is selected. Covering becomes armor without ceremony. Standing occurs. Departure from camera occurs. The performer steps away from the lens. The performer steps away from the fantasy. The e-girl construct is terminated for the night. Now the real problem begins. The exit from studio is not an exit. It is an escalation. Digital containment ends. Physical exposure begins. A threshold opens. Street air enters the lungs. Erebus Prime receives the unit. The fantasy dissolves. The city does not. Observers in the street register. Male gaze events spike. Female stare events spike. Attention follows, involuntary, like a system update that cannot be deferred. The unit permits it. The unit understands what the eyes are doing. The unit understands what the eyes are missing. They see a body as product. They see an invitation. They see a spectacle. They do not see the blade in the smile. They do not see the intent behind the tilt. They do not see the audit forming in the silence between steps. This is an advantage. This is how approach vectors remain unflagged. This is how threats move through crowds as if crowds are doors. Erebus Prime logs the passage. Senses adjust. Cameras breathe. Street lights narrow. Signage recalibrates. A gentle compliance hum begins, audible only as discomfort. For your comfort, do not follow. For your safety, do not assume. For your dignity, remain unaware. The unit walks. The city watches. The city has always watched. The audience will wait again. They always wait.